Breaking news. Turkish Lira tumbles after Erdogan renews call for unorthodox rate cuts. But in my country, it's totally different. Welcome to Silver Heist. Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. We are a channel that likes to hold physical gold and silver. To support my creation, please subscribe. Okay, there's lots of news in the Wall Street Journal and some other financial papers recently about the Turkish Lira. So here's the headline: Turkish Lira tumbles after Erdogan renews call for unorthodox rate cuts. Turkey's leader wants lower interest rates, the opposite of what economists and investors are calling for to fight spiraling inflation. This is November 17th, 2021. Turkey's currency slid for the seventh day in a row, propelled by fears that the country's central bank will allow raging inflation to overwhelm the economy. The lira shed 2.7% of its value against the dollar on Wednesday, giving the emerging market currency a slide of nearly 10% in 10 days. The lira is the worst performing major emerging market currency of the year and is on course for its ninth consecutive year of declines, down almost 30% this year alone. Here's a chart in the decline of the lira. Investors fled the lira in recent days, anticipating that Turkey's central bank will cut its main policy rate when it meets on Thursday. Usually, central banks raise interest rates to fight inflation, since it makes borrowing more expensive, slowing down the economy and reducing demand for goods and services. Higher rates also attract capital into an economy, strengthening the currency and causing the price of imported goods to drop. Inflation in Turkey reached nearly 20% in October by official measures. The central bank cut interest rates during both its September and October meetings. Many expect it to cut the benchmark one-week repo rate to 15% from 16% when it meets on Thursday. Expectations for the central bank to cut rates ramped up on Wednesday after President Erdogan repeated his desire for low interest rates to stimulate economic growth. During a speech to members of his party on Wednesday, Mr. Erdogan invoked a religious prohibition on usury in his argument against high interest rates. As long as I'm in office, I will continue our struggle against interest rates until the very end. I will continue my struggle against inflation until the very end, he said. Mr. Erdogan has repeatedly intervened at the central bank to install officials who side with his unorthodox economic strategy. Mr. Erdogan has fired 3 central bank governors in the past 2 years, most recently in March. He has fired several other top officials at the bank. Investors say they have lost confidence that the central bank would be able to increase interest rates to a level near or above inflation. Considering the statements that President Erdogan made earlier today, the market is completely spooked about what could happen tomorrow, said Phoenix Kalin, a strategist at Societe Generale. She expects the central bank to cut its benchmark rate by 1% on Thursday. And this is a chart of percentage of Turkish residents' total bank deposits in either foreign currencies, which is rising, versus Turkish lira, which is falling. The speed of the lira slide is reminiscent of the 2018 currency crisis, in which the lira fell by almost a third. A rapidly weakening currency is likely to further boost inflation as necessary imports such as food and oil become more expensive to buy in the local currency. When the lira does have such sharp falls, it filters through to consumer prices, said Jason Tuvey. The rising cost of basic goods, including food, medicine, and energy, is fueling public discontent with Mr. Erdogan, who has ruled Turkey as prime minister or president for much of the past 2 decades. His approval rating dropped to 38.9% in October, down 2.5% from the previous month. According to Metropol, a leading Turkish polling outfit, Turkey's economy has also experienced turbulence in recent years because of a failed military coup in 2016, instability resulting from wars in neighboring Iraq and Syria, and the downturn in tourism during the pandemic. Lack of confidence in officials to effectively control inflation is spurring locals to switch lira for foreign currencies. Over half of the deposits in Turkey's banking system are held in foreign currencies, according to central bank statistics. Mr. Erdogan has pushed back against critics of his handling of the economy in recent days. We wrote the book on the economy and continue to write it, he said on Monday. Low interest rates, high inflation, and unorthodox policies at the central bank. But here in America, it's totally different, right? Please leave a comment. Thanks for watching.